Welcome to Teams Tuesday, a podcast about mastering the best about what other people have already figured out. Teams Tuesday focuses on insights and lessons that never expire. You will walk away from every episode with actionable insights that help you get better results and be more productive.
This was about as bizarre and easy as it gets.
The client just couldn't make up their mind.
I feel like we had top.
Went from a project of 20 weeks to just 2.
The DevOps was a cultural shift.
This is Teams Tuesday with your host, Peter Ward.
Welcome to Teams Tuesday. The summer is going away. I can say very quickly, it's August. Labor Day is coming up in about 2 weeks now. My name is Peter Ward. I'm the host of Teams Tuesday. Now, I'm super excited about this guest who I met at a collaboration event in July. And we are talking about Mesh, which is something I've heard a lot about, but I don't know too much about, I have to say. So Clement Savron, welcome to Teams Tuesday. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for welcoming me at the event.
Okay. And so a few things. You're from Paris. So how far are you actually from Paris?
So I was living in Paris a few years ago, but I decided to now live at something like 15 kilometers. So, we have a little bit of fresh air, not entirely in the city. So it's a little bit better.
All right, okay. And the Olympics ended, was there did you see any of the Olympics in action?
Yeah. My parents came to Paris, and so we see few things like archery, weightlifting, after diving as well. So it was pretty good.
Didn't see any Australian breakdancing, perhaps?
No, sorry.
All right, so let me have a few icebreaker questions. Okay, your first job from college, you worked for Avalon, okay, and they're a big Microsoft consulting firm, so I'm assuming that's where you got your first taste of the SharePoint world, correct?
Yeah. So I started I was going out of school, making some infrastructure things at school, and so they onboarded me directly on migration projects from SharePoint to SharePoint Online, Exchange to Exchange Online, Skype to Teams. So during those 2 first years, I was migrating a lot of things.
Right, okay. All right, very, very cool. And a few other things as well in terms of your Mesh. How did you get involved with the Mesh? How come you became an expert with this? Or a good talking point?
I think it started with the COVID. So I was really thinking about how we can make progressing the work today depending generations, and by the fact that when we were all in remote, it was really complicated to collaborate. So I was thinking about new ways to collaborate, and I started to dig, and so finally I found some solutions, like with Altspace, which was a company making 3D environments, which was acquired by Microsoft finally. And so I was continuing on that, and early January, Microsoft released Mesh in general availability. So I was waiting this project for 2 years because Microsoft made a lot of announcement about it.
Yeah.
And so, I was really waiting it during the COVID initially. But it took time, and finally it was released, and I was ready to dig in.
Right. Now tell me, this has got nothing to do with SharePoint Spaces. Is it totally separate?
SharePoint Spaces was the first element of 3D space attempt by Microsoft. They tried multiple things. So you had the mixed reality with HoloLens, you have SharePoint Spaces, Altspace, mixed reality with MRTK. So they tried multiple things, and so finally Mesh is the result.
Right. Okay. Very cool. All right. So your demo, you're showing how to reproduce cities, new ways to collaborate, and its alignment with new generations. So this is pretty good stuff because I'm not too familiar with this. So I'll allow you to share the screen and go for it.
Yeah. Took this one. Yes. Can you see my screen?
I can. PowerPoint.
Yeah, so I made a little point about that. So post-pandemic collaboration changed a little bit. people were considering redesigning their office space after the COVID. We have a lot of companies now which are adopting flex office. So you have to book your space when you are going to the office. They are diminishing the space they are using and the fact of people which are on site every day. More employees want more flexibility with remote work. They don't want to be totally in person. They realized after the COVID, it was a good thing to be at home a little bit stressless. And so they start to ask some questions like, is it still worse to go to the office? And so they made some metrics about that and depending generations. And when you are looking some generations, they just want to go to the office because they can meet their friends, their colleagues, they appreciate. But most of the time, they don't want to go to the office just to see the senior leadership. They consider that a little bit stress.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So it's changing, but so you have some attempt from different companies which were like, okay, we are going fully remote. But so they said, okay, we don't have office anymore. We are going fully remote. After 6 months, they realized, no, it's not working. You still need to see people. You still need to interact with them physically. But so that's why full remote is currently not a viable option for a company. But that's why you must initiate what we call hybrid work, or you can make effective works on site and with people which are remote. And so I have this little graph about the next generation coming on the markets. So when you are using some tech, you have some signature product which are linked to generations. So as myself, it will be the personal computer. So I grew up with the digital. So I'm part of the digital natives. But if you are looking at new generations, it's gamer generations that were born with a computer. They are multitask. They are making a lot of things and they are just way more comfortable than older generations on IT. So now the question we can take is, we can adapt the way we are working now to those new generations which are coming on the market. Because currently they will be part of our productions, they will deliver, and so they have new methods, new tools, new communications, media. And that's why I dig it on Mesh and we can use this kind of tool to make really a new tool which can be between all generations and favorize the hybrid work between people in remote and on-site. So just some so about those new tools, some generations are adopting really fast so Mesh is kind of a metaverse tool. And so no new generations, more than half of them are really open to use digital immersive space. It's not the case of some boomers, but now when we have major production which are located on millennials and Gen Z, we must adapt to ensure they can use this kind of tool to be more productive. So I made little advice about that when you want to make some hybrid collaborations. So those advice are from Microsoft as well when they made this study. Choose some tools that bring employees together, no matter where they work. Take work-life balance seriously and take steps to support your commitment. After the COVID, a lot of people realized work-life balance was a serious thing. Choose solutions that promote simplicity and user-friendliness. Focus on quality work, no matter where people work as well, and build trust with ongoing security. So let's present a little bit Mesh. So Mesh is divided into tools. You have immersive space, which are part directly of Teams. So it's a solution which will allow you to make some dynamic onboarding. It's already included in your license today, so you can use it. And during the year, they will implement new stuff. I have a little video about that. They will implement workspace when you can make some customer engagements. You can have some workshop room, some meeting room, and so you can exchange with people from everywhere. After that, we have Mesh, and Mesh basically is just the tool which is allowing you to make a full custom environment. And my specialty is to make custom environment. So I made one for today. Let's see it if you want.
Go for it.
So one thing I like is, visiting cities. So I was lucky. I had the possibility to visit few cities during my conferences, like I went to meet you in New York. So I decided to make a full environment about New York. And so what allowing you Mesh is to make everything you want in a custom environment. So I made a little space where you can put what they call web slate. It's directly web page which are embedded here, and you can share your content. So imagine tomorrow you will have a project. You have a lot of windows which are concerning this project. You have one with your Kanban, one with your work breakdown structure. And so Mesh currently is allowing you to make this possible in an infinite number of screens. And just by turning around, you can consult all screen you put. So currently I just put 2. So the event lists about the New York Teams Tuesday. So I can like what we have. So we have my event and we can see all upcoming events. After that, I can put every screen I want. So I can navigate inside it, and it's just allowing me to have some place to share with people, because if you can be around me, you can see that and interact with me inside it. What is great as well is Mesh is supporting physics. So when you are inside it, you can put some physics element. So for people who know this movie, which is called Flubber, so I reproduced just a ball which is don't stopping bouncing. And so that's some possibility I can make in Mesh. I can make some football. So there are different kind of football. So I think this one is a normal one. Let me try and see. Yep, this one is a normal one. And I have another one. I didn't call it Tom Brady, but it's a little bit not bouncing, missing some plate. But after that, I have some example. When you're making an environment like this, you have to take care of what you're doing, because, it's like video games. When you're designing, you need to put some elements, but without too much detail. If you are going too much in detail, sometimes you will have issue to execute it. So here I am pretty at the balance, but
How are you putting all the coordinates in on this? Or how are you mapping these cities?
So currently what I'm doing, I'm working just on environment. It's totally done on Unity. So what you're seeing here, it's my floor. So I have a big square. So this floor is my big square. And so after that, I'm placing my 3D elements inside just the environments. You can use Sketchfab. Sketchfab is just a website where you can have 3D elements. A lot of artists are sharing them. They are free. So that's why I put their name here. So here you have the first Empire State Building made by Microsoft. So it's directly made by Microsoft. You have the number, which is representing the number of triangles needed to make this. You have another one which has been made by NanoRay. So NanoRay is one of the people which is sharing 3D models, and you can download that. He is a good guy which is making his model public. And you can use them for community purpose. So here it's not commercial. If you want to use them commercially, you need to pay. And you have the last one, which is from 3DBK2. So it's just some elements I'm taking on Sketchfab. If you have a complete team on your company, they may design some 3D elements for you, and you just have to, after that, to place them. So I placed all of this. It took me a little time, something like 2 weeks. And after that, so we can have what I will call a static element here. It's just everything, nothing is moving. The flubber is just bouncing, but I just don't made a lot of animation here. If you have some skills in C#, you can make elements which are dynamics. If you have some people which can make animations, you can make some animations about the Rexy and make him walk through the scene if you want. But making an animated Rexy will take me like something like 1 year. So
that's not going to work. Can you give me a business case of where you're witnessing companies are using this?
So one element I can show you is an electrical wind turbine, sorry. We have this example. So I have a company, they have 18 place through USA. And so they are making an onboarding. It's just an electrical company. Currently, they have to train all people about wind turbine. So all you're going to do this training of these 18 people, it will be complicated. You have to find a wind turbine. Just to remind here, it's about 100 meters above the ground. So it can be dangerous to train 18 people in the same time. So what I've done is just a wind turbine, which is totally in 3D. And so I can show the generator and train people about it. So it's really a complete, a use case. So I can have a little video explaining how it's working and train people about that. So, okay, it's not a physical intervention, but before having some people 100 meters above the ground, it's pretty a good thing to make this kind of training in a virtual environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have some use case after some boat, which has been totally virtualized. You have huge boats that can stop a lot of time at port when they are coming. So they're just digitalized some, and so you can visit them before onboarding. So it's pretty good thing. You have some use case like this. After that, I make after conferences as well. You can make, so we have the Modern Workplace conference in Paris. And so currently I just made an environment where you can assist the conferences if you are not on site. So we have rooms and you have the agenda of the room. So let me scroll a little bit. So you have the agenda of the room and you can directly have the live of the room inside it. So for people which are not on site, they're allowing them to just assist sessions.
Right.
So yeah, you can have an infinite use case of that. It's just so if you are doing project, so I have the case of Audi. Audi, they just digitalize the car. And so they're applying modification in real time inside it. So it's allowing people to see a car and to directly change the color and view the color changing. And so there will be, so after this product currently Mesh is working as well with this type of headset, MetaQuest. So with MetaQuest, you can have a better perspectives. You can have interactions with the controllers. So you can interact with directly what is inside. So that's a way to have collaborative works about 3D elements. In the industry, I think it's a good product for that. So here I can mess up, everyone dreamed the one time in the conference to do that. So you have different ways to interact. And so Microsoft is progressing every day to make this solution low code and no code. So I can have an editor here. And so there is not a lot of element currently, but they are working on it. So I can add, if I want, an image. And so here I will just have to place it. So up editor. So I will take it, I will place it here, make it grow. And after that, I will have to take the URL of a picture, image, I think, yep. And here I just put create test from chat, Teams Tips Tuesday. But yeah, so you can just place image as simply as this. And so after that, for those elements like trees, like foods, you will need to use Unity for that. I don't know if you have a question about that, Peter.
Yeah, so there's quite a few questions coming in. Are there templates you can have to say like this is a vanilla city and then you customize the template to Paris or New York?
Yeah, Microsoft makes some templates. So they made 6 templates. The first one, the wind turbine I show you, was the first example from Microsoft. It's Mesh 101. It's basically, so the wind turbine, it's from Microsoft. They done that. I didn't invented anything. After that, so they made 4 things. So the physics effect gallery, where you can study all physics effects you can put on a mesh environment, toy box with some buildings, the dart rooms as well, and the science building. So they are giving you some elements, and when you are opening a project in Unity, you can modify those elements to make the one you want. So you can, after that, go on Sketchfab, add things. They're just giving you some basis, so you can open this Unity project, and after that, modify it like you want.
Right. Okay.
So
And
yeah, it's...
Could you do you're doing cities? Can you now, like, are people using this for like an office, for offices?
Yeah, we can do offices. So yeah, I just like doing cities because when I'm making, I will say conferences, I like to make a city about some conferences. But yeah, you can do city, you can do office, you can do whatever you want. It's just your imagination, which is a limit on what you want to do. There are some basic environments. So Microsoft made this one, which is the basic one on Mesh. So you can open it. It's just the basic environment. And if you want to make a Mesh event, you can just invite people on this one. It's just the basic one from Microsoft.
Okay. A couple of questions. This question always gets asked, and I'm not sure if it's by the same person. Okay, what is this available in? What licenses? E3, E5, is it extra? What is it?
So for using custom mesh environment, you will have to use Teams Premium. So yeah, it will represent a cost because currently you have Teams, a lot of people have Teams Normal. So Teams Premium, it's around $8 per month, but you will have other functionalities with Teams Premium. But yeah, it's one of them. After that, if you want to test mesh, just you are like, okay, I want to test mesh because maybe it can be a good solution. Microsoft is providing a 6 months free trial. So you can enable this 6 months free trial and you will have something like 1 million license for your users.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay.
And if you want to see, so you were talking about, oh, I'm placing elements. So here is just the example of my Unity project. So you have all elements which are here. So I'm just like if you want to adjust where I'm putting the tower. And so after this, I just have to upload it and it's done. So yeah, Unity is pretty simple to use. You just have to place elements and modify them. So you can scale them, you can just modify them, animate them. For any people which are making video games in Unity, there is a lot of things you can do with that, yeah. So yeah, I have a big World Trade Center. I can make just a little whopper. So it's really, so I can make a little one if I want.
Okay, and another question. All right, is there any PC requirements for this? Like, I'm assuming a good graphics card.
Yeah.
Okay,
so when you are doing this, so you have 2 options. You have, so here I'm making it on my computer, so there is no issue. It's a pretty huge computer. It's good. After this, when you are working with your headset, it will start to be complicated because this headset is totally autonomous on Android. So meaning it doesn't have the performance of my computer. So what made Microsoft? They made the content performance analyzer. So when you have elements, it will analyze those and tell you where you have issues. So like they are recommending to have elements which are under 30K triangle. So if you take the example of my Kong, so in my environment I have Kong, but you have all the air body. So yeah, it's too much and it might be impacting the performance. So Kong is basically a bad idea. So if you have a square, yeah, it's really better. But going in this type of detail maybe impact performance. So I'm launching my content performance analyzer, and after that I try to solve all issues I have on my environment.
Right, and okay, so you just displayed the headset there, which obviously gets another question coming in. What is that headset? Is that the Facebook one, the HTC, or is it the Microsoft, or is it the Apple, or whatever?
So this one is from Meta. So 2 years ago, Microsoft announced a partnership with Meta. they said we will make Mesh available for Meta. So that's why I bought a Meta Quest Pro. So this one is a Pro. And now you have the Meta Quest 3, which is available on the market, which is pretty good. And so that's why Mesh is only available right now on Meta Quest headset. If you want to buy an Apple Vision, it's not available. It will come maybe during the year. But what is funny is the Meta Quest headset doesn't have Teams and the Apple Vision doesn't have Mesh. So if you want to make a,
Can you say that again, please? Actually,
so if you want to make a Teams meeting with my headset on Meta, I can't do it. I don't have Teams inside this one.
Okay.
I have Mesh, but I don't have Teams. And so the Apple Vision Pro have Teams, but doesn't have Mesh.
Right. Okay. Lovely. All right.
So I don't know when they will put Teams and Mesh everywhere, but currently it's not the case.
All right. Did that answer the question for the person? All right. Okay. How much are these headsets out of interest? Because I believe the Apple one was bonkers in terms of price, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably going to quote me in euros as well, aren't you?
Oh, no. So don't worry. It's just the Apple one is around $4,000. And so this one, I got the Pro one. When I bought it 2 years ago, it was $1,300. But now you have the Meta Quest 3, which is similar to this one. And the Meta Quest 3 is $600, around that. So now it may be better to have a Meta Quest 3 to do that. Yeah, because it's less than 1,000. So it's still more affordable than an Apple Vision Pro at 4,000.
Right. Okay. Very cool. All right. That's very cool demo. Now you're speaking in a few events coming up here. Now, interesting enough, September the 18th is the Metaverse One Space.
Yep, I started working on my space for them, but I didn't finish.
All right, we got about a month to figure that one out. Okay, and an event you're going to organise in your city on the 19th, which is the day after, which is called. I will push this out on my newsletter as well for you as well. Okay,
Thank you.
Very, very cool. And the sources are the books. I'm just looking at this. Your links here, your stories, build. Very nice, very nice. I'll put that in the chat for everyone. Okay. Microsoft Build Book of News. What is this?
The Book of News.
I know what Build is. It's the flagship. Yeah.
So the Book of News. I put the Book of News. Yeah, about my routine. So the Book of News for every people which are looking at the Ignite of the Microsoft Build. Sometimes it might be complicated to follow all session, in particularly for European because it's taking place during night. So you have this Book of News from Microsoft, which has just resuming all announcements from Microsoft. And so it's really good because every day when I want to see what will do Microsoft in the few days which are coming, it's really a good thing. So I have it for the build. You just have a table of content. And so Copilot is one of the subjects of the year. And so they were introducing Team Copilot. It was presenting it. So you just have to click on the book. And after that, you will just find everything that has been said about it. You have all links, everything needed. So I think it's a must-have. So yeah, just if you want to know what Microsoft want to do in the few months between the Ignite, the build, you just have to go on the Book of News and you will see everything. So for Team Copilot, Copilots in SharePoint, everything. So about Mesh, the AI extensibility on Mesh. So yeah, I think it's a must-have for people which wish to which have a huge curiosity and which wish to know what Microsoft will do on the few next months.
That's a good site actually. I haven't been on that site in probably a few months. So there's so many good stuff on particularly on the Microsoft content website of product launches, new features coming up. That's a good reminder. Thank you for that. All right, Clement, we're coming up. Thank you for the demo. There's no more any last chance for any questions to come in on this. I've put your LinkedIn profile on this. Your video will be pushed up on SoundCloud and Spotify and all the other social media networks. Thank you for your time. And I suppose in Paris, it's probably a bit of a good evening for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
and a good
yeah,
night.
yeah. So for finish, I made these little things. So the little pictures we take for the New York events. So thank you for welcoming me. And
that's
I
very cool
made,
picture. I like it. I remember.
And
that,
a little so dragon.
Very, very slick. I like it. Very nice on that. In terms of features coming up on this, do you think you might get cases where the animation, like the dragon moving here, is that coming up as a new feature, you think?
The last thing they implemented was AI. So they made just Earth, and so when you are pointing the Earth, it will give you information about where you are pointing. So I think animations will take time to come.
Right. Okay.
We are really looking forward for Copilot for Mesh, but we don't have a few info about it. The only things we know is this one. So Mesh, I show you, it was one application. You have to download it on the Microsoft Store. They made a little app on Teams, and they say Microsoft Mesh app will coming soon on this version of Teams.
Right. Okay. Nice. All right. Almost up on time on this. So thank you for your time, and have a good night, Clement. And hopefully I'll see you at an MVP summit or next year in New York.
With pleasure.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you.